There is one word from the Old Norse language that holds more meaning and more guttural power than any other. It is Ragnarok. The word is a combination of Rakr or Rakva, meaning twilight, growing darkness associated with fate, and Ragna, the reign of gods, kings, ruling powers. Thus, we are given Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, or in German, Kampf der untergehenden Götter, Battle of the Doomed Gods. This is the great battle at the end of the world, where the Aesir, the gods, and the Einhar, Odin's warriors selected by the Valkyries and brought to Valhall, meet their fate in the final cataclysmic war against the primordial beasts, creatures, and entities of the realms. The broad sweep of Germanic mythology is fragmentary, scattered across poetry, runic artwork, and sagas and histories, usually written down by monks of the Middle Ages, with no official anthology to hold the literature together in a clear canon. These stories were told around the mead hall and on the road and sea, often in specially crafted alliterative verse known as drottkvæt, meaning court meter. This tight and flowing composition used by skalds in their grand poetry held the verses together in the minds of the listeners and made each line difficult to alter without outright breaking the structure of the poetry. Within the sagas of heroes and legends and forefathers, the skalds frequently allude to and reference events and figures which were well known to the northerners of earlier ages, but which to us have since been lost to time. Germanic mythology is pieced together and woven from these thousand-year-old texts, and from surviving runic carvings and folk traditions. And from this collection of stories and excerpts, we have come to learn of the events of Ragnarok. What we know of Ragnarok and its details is found primarily in the poem Voluspå, the prophecy of the seeress, from the Codex Regius and from Hauksbok, and supplemented with details in Gylfaginning, the beguiling of Gylfi. In Voluspå, a vulva, or seeress, tells the god Odin about the events leading up to Ragnarok, seeking a way to uncover hidden knowledge and overcome his fate. We can imagine Odin listening to this foretelling with rapt focus, but standing back so as not to betray the intensity of his desire for the knowledge and the vision. The seeress foretells that in the end times, the world will first be plagued by greed, kinslaying, adultery, and lawlessness. Then, a great winter comes to the lands, which only worsens, and not even summertime can unfreeze the soil. It grows so cold that most of life is extinguished. This is called the Fimbul Winter. It lasts for 3 entire years. Mankind and animals freeze and starve. And at the end of the Fimbul Winter, only a fraction of life remains alive. After the Fimbul Winter, the great wolf Fenrir is freed from his bonds and devours the sun goddess Sol. At the same time, the warg brother of Fenrir, Vafthrûdnir, leaps up to devour the moon god Mani. Waves will crash against the shore as the world serpent Jormungandr writhes in the deep. The seas boil and fire reaches the heavens, signaling the beginning of the end. The poetic richness of the language is so intense that it is best for me to read passages from the Voluspå directly. A hall I saw, far from the sun. On Næstrand it stands, and the doors face north. Venom drops through the smoke vent down, for around the walls do serpents wind. I saw there, wading through rivers wild, treacherous men, and murderers too, and workers of ill with the wives of men. There, Nithhog sucked the blood of the slain, and the wolf tore men, which you know yet more. The giantess old in Ironwood sat, in the east and bore the brood of Fenrir. Among these one in monster's guise was soon to steal the sun from the sky. Here in the poem, the Volva describes the terrible ship of nails, Naglfar, will set sail with giants on board. Surtur, the lord of Muspelheim, will arrive from the south, with flames enveloping his sword. The rooster crows 3 times to wake the Einhar, Odin's warriors of Valhall. Returning to the poem, we read, "There he feeds full on the flesh of the dead, and the home of the gods he reddens with gore. Dark grows the sun, and in summer soon come mighty storms. On a hill there sat, and smote on his harp, Egthor the joyous, the giant's warder. Above him the cock in the birdwood crowed, fair and red did Fjalar stand. Then to the gods crowed Golinkambi. He wakes the heroes in Odin's hall, and beneath the earth does another crow, the rust-red bird at the bars of hell. Now Garm howls loud before Nibelhelir. The fetters will burst, and the wolf run free. Much do I know, and more can see, of the fate of the gods, the mighty in fight. Brothers shall fight and fell each other, and sisters' sons shall kinship stain. Hard is it on earth with mighty whoredom. Axe time, sword time, shields are sundered. Wind time, wolf time, ere the world falls. Nor ever shall men each other spare. Fast move the sons of Mim and Fate, is heard in the note of the Gjalla horn. Loud blows Heimdall, the horn is aloft. In fear quake all who on hell roads are. Yggdrasil shakes and shiver on high. The ancient limbs and the giant is loose. To the head of Mim does Odin give heed, but the kinsman of Surtur shall slay him soon. From the east comes Hrym, with shield held high. In giant wrath does the serpent writhe. O'er the waves he twists, and the tawny eagle gnaws corpses screaming. Naglfar is loose. According to the Prose Edda, the final battle will take place on the field of Vigridr. The gods will face invaders, including the ship Naglfar carrying Fenrir, Surtur, and a horde of Jotun. O'er the sea from the east there sails a ship, with the people of Muspel. At the helm stands Loki. After the wolf do wild men follow, and with them the brother of Byleist goes. Surtur fares from the south, with the scourge of branches. The sun of the battle gods shone from his sword. The crags are sundered, the giant women sink. The dead throng Hellway, and heaven is cloven. Now comes Hlin, yet another hurt, when Odin fares to fight with the wolf. And Beli's fair slayer seeks out Surtur, for there must fall the joy of Frigg. Then comes Sigfather's mighty son Vithar to fight with the foaming wolf. In the giant sun does he thrust his sword full to the heart. His father is avenged. Hither there comes the son of Hlothin. The bright snake gapes to heaven above. Against the serpent goes Odin's son. In Voluspå, when the gods ride out to face these threats, Odin himself fights against the giant wolf Fenrir, battling it with his spear Gungir. But the beast is too strong and too mighty. It devours Odin whole, swallowing his body. Odin's wife Frigg suffers her second great sorrow at the loss of her husband. Odin's son Vidar then confronts Fenrir in battle and manages to avenge his father by breaking the wolf's jaws and running his sword clear through the beast's heart. Thor fights with the great world serpent Jormungandr and manages to kill it, but is poisoned in the end by its potent venom, and after taking only 9 steps, falls to the ground dead. Loki, the trickster god, and Heimdall, the brightest of the Aesir, slay each other in battle, and the earth sinks into the sea amidst all engulfing flames. Many great heroes perish. The earth will sink into the sea. In anger smites the warder of earth. Forth from their homes must all men flee. 9 paces fares the son of Fjorgyn, and slain by the serpent, fearless he sinks. The sun turns black, earth sinks in the sea, the hot stars down from heaven are whirled. Fierce grows the steam and the life-feeding flame, till fire leaps high about heaven itself. Much do I know, and more can see, of the fate of the gods, the mighty in fight. The vulva reveals that afterward, the world will resurface, green and fertile again. The surviving gods will reunite, and Balder and Höder will return from the underworld. The sons of Thor will inherit his hammer. A new generation of humans, Leif and Leifthasir, will repopulate the earth, and a new, righteous king in a new mighty hall comes to govern all powers and lands forever after. The vulva says, "Now do I see the earth anew, rise all green from the waves again. The cataracts fall, and the eagle flies, and fish he catches beneath the waves. In wondrous beauty once again shall the golden tables stand mid the grass, which the gods had owned in the days of old. Then fields unsowed bear ripened fruit, all ills grow better, and Balder comes back. Balder and Hoth dwell in Hropt's battle hall, and the mighty gods, which you know yet more fair than the sun, a hall I see, roofed with gold, on Gimli it stands. There shall the righteous rulers dwell, and happiness ever, there shall they have. There comes on high all power to hold, a mighty lord, all lands he rules." Several archaeological finds have been interpreted as depicting events from the Norse story of Ragnarök. The 11th century Thorwald's cross from the Isle of Man bears an image of a warrior holding a spear downward at a wolf's mouth, while a large bird perches on his shoulder. This is considered a depiction of Odin with his raven being killed by Fenrir. On the reverse side, there's an image of Christ, illustrating the mixing of pagan and Christian symbolism during this transitional era. The Gosforth cross in northern England also combines pagan and Christian imagery. It includes various scenes interpreted as being part of the Ragnarök story. A man battling a monstrous head, and a figure with 1 foot in the mouth of a beast. The binding of Fenrir and other mythical themes are depicted as well. On the early 11th century Ledberg stone from Sweden, a figure with his foot in the mouth of a 4-legged beast appears below a depiction of a helmeted, unarmed man. This may represent Odin being consumed by Fenrir. The inscription on the stone bears a cryptic formula believed to have ritualistic significance. The Skarpakkr stone was created by a grieving father who used the same poetic meter as the Poetic Edda when memorializing his dead son. This shows the deep connection that Ragnarok was felt to have, and shows how this story was seen as a fitting connection and parallel to the human loss and tragedy experienced by those of Scandinavia. While these stone carvings are open to some interpretation, they provide tangible evidence of the Norse apocalyptic myth of Ragnarok and its widespread significance in Viking Age Northern European culture. The myth was clearly meaningful not only as recorded in poems, but also in the artwork and the ways in which the Vikings interpreted their everyday world. Many theories have been proposed regarding the meaning and the significance of Ragnarok. Some scholars have pointed out the cyclic nature of the myth, with the world first being destroyed, but also reborn anew. The two human survivors, Leif and Leifthrassir, parallel the first human parents, Ask and Embla, made of ash and elm, suggesting an eternal recreation of the world and humans after Ragnarok. Natural events have also been proposed as inspirational to Ragnarok. The Fimbulwinter that precedes the apocalypse may represent a memory of extreme winters in Scandinavia over the centuries. The Jotunsutur and Muspelheim has also been closely connected to the volcanic activity, the eruptions and lava flows of Iceland. Some argue Ragnarok was influenced by biblical apocalyptic themes introduced with Christianity. Terms used in Old Norse sources to refer to the event, like Muspel, are also found in medieval German Christian writings about the end times. As pagan beliefs syncretized and intermixed with Christianity, Ragnarok may have absorbed ideas about the Judgment Day and fiery oblivion. The myth also warns about the consequences of moral decay in society. The Fimbulwinter comes after man moves away from piety and hospitality and integrity and kinship. Only the pious survivors, Leif and Leifthrassir, will repopulate the new purified world. Ragnarok represents an outlook on moral decline leading to disaster, resolved only through total war with the wicked and eventual renewing of virtues after world-ending destruction. Ragnarok is a dramatic glimpse into the worldview of the ancient Norse. The rich poetry and drama of destruction and renewal reflects the Scandinavian natural world itself, with its harsh winters, its raging sea, and its fiery volcanoes. It imparts moral wisdom and encodes hope for future rebirth after calamity. While its deeper meanings are debated today, Ragnarok undeniably forms one of the most powerful legacies in Norse mythology. This is one of my all-time favorite subjects to discuss, and there's so much to it that I'm still figuring out. And as I've been researching and exploring the writings of figures who came before me, been exploring this, it's like hearing things for the first time that I'm starting to discover, but hearing them put it in terms that are so much clearer than I've thought. And it's refreshing to see other people throughout the generations who've been just as fascinated by these ideas as we are today, by these stories, by these characters and beings that we're dealing with. There's so much meaning and so much power in these stories, in Christianity, in the Norse pagan beliefs. There's so much going on there, and it's not a mistake that people are looking to these stories now more than ever. Because within these stories, there is distilled truth, there is distilled wisdom. So finding out what that is, learning how to read these and immerse ourselves in these, as Werner Herzog says, having a sensory organ for the mythological. That's where we need to go. That is a powerful tool to have these days. So stick around, we're going to be exploring this much more to come. And thank you so much for your time. You are the best.